Section 5.2 is about ionic bonds. So ionic bonds, how do those things form? It's when you have a positive and a negative ion, and they're attracted to each other, so they form a bond. You can think of it like this person has all of their electrons here, and they're wanting to give one away. And so this person ends up accepting the electrons. The example here is that you're sharing the money that's stated above in order to both buy apples. So what is an ion? It's when an atom gains or loses one or more electrons, and then it becomes charged, a charged particle, and that charged particle is called an ion. It's charged because, remember, the number of protons don't change, and those are positive. So when you either lose an electron or gain an electron, you're going to end up becoming charged. You're going to end up losing an electron and have a positive charge, or gaining an electron and have a negative charge. And we know that opposites attract. That's what the second bullet is saying. And the strong force of attraction is what keeps the atom stuck together as a compound. So when an atom loses one of its electrons, it becomes a positively charged atom, and when it gains it, it becomes a negatively charged atom. Because the protons don't change, the electrons are the only thing that changes. These are some ions. These are atoms of groups of atoms that have lost or gained electrons. This set down here, notice how they have multiple, like this has hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen all bonded together. These are all special. They're called polyatomic ions, and we're going to learn about those a little bit later on, memorize a set of those. These up here, it's just saying lithium, for instance, is in group 1, so it gives away one electron. So because it gives away one negative, it's left with the 1 plus charge. So how are the formulas and the names written? When an ionic compound forms, the ions come together so that it balances out the charges. The subscript tells you the ratio of elements in the compound. And for an ionic compound, the name of the positive ion comes first, and the negative ion is second. The positive ion is always the metal. The negative ion would be the nonmetal. So they result, the ionic bonds result as an attraction between the positive and negative ion. Think of sodium and chlorine. Here's your metal, here's your nonmetal. Sodium has one electron and we lose it. It comes over here to chlorine. Chlorine has 7 and it accepts it. So now sodium has a positive charge. The sodium ion has a positive charge. And chlorine has a negative charge. An ionic bond is formed by a complete transfer. So what happens here, if you can look at the electron configuration, we have all of the electrons placed on both of the sodium and chlorine. And you can see chlorine has 7, sodium has 1 to give. It moves over. When it moves over, sodium is left with a 1 plus charge, chlorine is left with a 1 minus charge. Now if I had something like this, calcium and oxygen, oxygen only has 6 electrons in the outer level. Calcium has 2 to give away. They move over, leaves calcium with the 2 plus charge because it has 2 more protons than electrons, and now oxygen has a 2 minus charge because it has 2 more electrons than protons. If I had something like this, chlorine and magnesium, chlorine has 7 here, and this chlorine has 7. Magnesium has 2 to give away, so 1 goes over to that chlorine, and 1 electron goes over to this chlorine. Magnesium got rid of 2 electrons, so it has 2 more protons, or 2 more positives. Each of these chlorines have 1 more electron. So that's how it balances out. If you look and he has 1 minus and a 2 plus and a 1 minus, that all balances out to 0. Properties of ionic compounds, they're hard, brittle, solids, high melting points. When dissolved in water, they conduct electrical current. Think of like a salt. And these are some polyatomic ions. Poly means many, so many atom ions. And they're made of more than one atom, resulting in a unit having a positive or negative charge. They're also known as radicals. We're going to be memorizing this list for a quiz. And you're going to have to know, just like the elements, you have to know the name, the symbol, and the charge for it. That's it.